Hey all, this is Urs, and welcome back to what is going to be the final episode of this season of XCOM 2. As we watch the Doom counter count down, we'll see what the game over screen looks like, and we will have a quick discussion, a post-mortem on what went wrong, what we could have done better, and a couple of the key things we'll learn moving into the next phase of our attack, or the next alternate reality, past the training exercise we've designed to call it. And a couple of things I think mechanically learning going from Long War to this, which may be of help to you. So let's treat this as a learning exercise, shall we? And move on. Let's scan.
Attempting to establish local regional contact.
Priority message coming through, Commander.
What?
Putting it on screen now.
While I
70 supplies. No way. Just stop.
Commander,
Just stop.
Our continued failings
Just
over
stop.
the last month have left many in the
Just stop. What does this look like?
Loyal citizens, I stand before you truly humbled. So many lives lost, so many needless sacrifices endured, as we have struggled to cope with those who would see our great coalition fall. Today our struggle ends. XCOM is no more. Advent peacekeepers have reduced the last of their strongholds to ashes. And with it, the fragmented remains of the old world are finally washed away. Thank you for your continued support. And thank you to the Elders for their guidance through this crisis. Long live Advent. Long live the Elders.
Really? That's literally all we get? No, come on. Huh. Are you serious? The Avatar project is an announcement from the creepy little bastard? Are you serious right now? Come on, I expected something dramatic. Worst game over screen ever. Are you serious? That's kinda... They were just saying... We're waiting for the defeat of... I'm gonna let this try and obtain this while I'm talking, I suppose. Though, obviously, it's not doing too well. I expected, an Avatar project to be something, dramatic, like... I don't know, something that they would actually show as an Avatar, something as they would actually be working towards. And now it's just a guy going... Well, we kicked XCOM's ass! Job's done. Really? That's all we got? I'm gonna not bother with this. Don't worry about that. Defeat, yes, of course. Of course. But missions won, 9. Missions lost, 5. 1 flawless mission we got. 106 aliens killed, 20 soldiers lost. Hey, our kill ratio is 5 to 1, so in a war, we're technically doing really well. In the guerrilla warfare, probably not so good. Successful shot percentage, that is highly suspect. I don't think they count Overwatches, actually, because that one mission said we had 100% successful shots, and we missed every single Overwatch, so I'm thinking no. That's not how that works. And there are more stats here? Oh, look at this. Here we go. 23 soldiers saw action. Days first colonel. We never made it to colonel. That's awful. Lots of wounds. Some promotions earned, but not many. No size. No colonels. Number of magi. I don't even know what the hell that is. My guess that could be like a top-end psi operative? Could be. Robots hacked. 1 hack reward earned, which you got at the last mission. 3 science, 2 engineers. Days to mag weapons. Ah, okay. Here we go. Mag weapons, beam weapons. Plated armor, powered armor, alien encryption. Okay, those are some techs, I guess, that are key milestones, something to think about. No relays, no facilities. Lots of supplies. Nothing from the black market, and very little intel. Alright, and that is the credit screen, which we can look at some other point. Solomon has killed us, yet again. So, closing thoughts, since we're going to treat this episode as kind of an epilogue before we start our next season. A couple things, obviously mechanically, that are different from Long War, that I've noticed that I've, I guess, been paying for in blood. First and foremost, I think, is just the aim, the shots, the flanks, the advantages. It does not seem to line up with what you'd expect. Like, point-blank flanks are anything but. We're missing plenty of 83s and 75s with a very high chance to crit. I mean, obviously, with a number like 75, it seems like, yeah, you could probably miss it. But point blank, honestly, on a flank, I think should be near 100%. from game mechanics perspective, because I know like rookies and everything from distance, maybe if the alien's a little further away in distance and you flank them, I could see a 75% shot, you're going a little miss, you're getting a little paranoid and scared. But if you're literally face to face with the ugly bastard, it doesn't take much to stick a gun in his face and fire. Just saying. That mechanic's a little weird to me, but it's something I gotta play for. I mean, if that's how they ran the aim calculations here, that's something to think about. Two, I guess the other major thing is because flashbangs are awful for what I think flashbangs should do. Obviously, we depended on them a lot in Long War. We still do, to basically disable enemies, have very little chance of moving or firing or hitting us with a gun. Here, the aim reduction is nearly minimal, and it showed that one mission where we had a shotgunner shooting from like 20 paces out while disoriented. He still had 60% chance to hit the target. So, flashbangs actually don't reduce aim for diddly. Maybe 10%, if that, honestly. And really, the most useful thing, I think, is A, to break psionics, and B, to slow movement from stun lancers, which makes sense. In one hand, they're at least useful for reducing the movement. The psionics is a nice bonus, but we can't really depend on flashbangs to get the job done. I hear the mimic beacon is nice, which makes a fake hologram of the soldier and can save lives because the aliens will be shooting at that. I think that's a good strategy to go. Turns out early armor is really important. I've seen some of your comments that, you know, early mag weapons, early armor are both really, really good. Tough to pick one or the other. The recommendation have been 50-50. I would lean toward weapons normally, except for the fact that we are so squishy early. I mean, in Long War, you're also squishy. Granted, you are squishy, but generally from crits. Here, you can get killed through cover when one shot, without a crit, which I've seen with early weapons. So the squish factor is leveled up, I think, honestly, by a considerable, appreciable degree, which may militate to getting earlier armor sooner. And if you could outfit them with extra padding early on without leaving off grenades, I could see sticking with the early armor more, but as it stands, I don't know. It's hard to justify. It's really hard to justify going after armor as it is, essentially. Not going after weapons, but leaving the armor as it is, rather. So I think going after the armor first may be a priority next time. I know maybe a little lower on firepower that way, but if we do everything more or less more correct and get the scientists and engineers we need, we shouldn't be feeling the lack of firepower too much. So we did pretty well on Legendary with a lack of firepower, despite massively strong enemies going against us. So that's not... it's something for that. So I think I may go for armor much earlier next time, provided we get the alloys from the supply raid mission or something along those lines. Anyway, that's that thought. And speaking of that, right, that bears into the grenade issue. Grenades are so important. So important, I found, because you can't depend on your shots, can't depend on flanks. So you need to be able to clear cover and fire at the enemy. And you need as many explosive grenades as possible, which basically stops you, I think, practically speaking, from taking extra armor plating on the early armor, because that grenade is so important. One extra hit point is not gonna do it, whereas a grenade may clear the cover of that Advent officer and be able to pick him off with, if you're lucky, within 4 shots. Alright? So that's kind of the nature of the beast there. And the last thought I had, and among others, obviously, we're learning the enemies and all their abilities and stuff. A lot of things still hold true, obviously. Don't bunch up because of grenades. Faceless are freaking scary. Avoid the melee, things like that nature. The other thing I need to see, the last thought I had was related to the ambush mechanic. And it was a big deal, I think, in the previews of the build, and since I kind of went into this relatively blind, except for just a little bit of how the classes worked, I was still in that mindset that the perfect ambush, right, is setting all your guys on Overwatch when they technically don't have a penalty, and then letting loose and hopefully taking the shots down and getting everyone down pretty well or pretty weak while taking the initial shot with a sniper or somebody. And given how not dependable flanks and Overwatch fire actually is, even from concealment, where technically there shouldn't have been a penalty, according to how I understand the mechanics, Overwatch fire on Overwatch is non-penalized once you're in ambush, from ambush, or from concealment rather. Seeing how not dependable it was, and we pretty much missed most of the shots, we got 1 or 2 perfect ambushes off, but beyond that, it never worked for us. And then the aliens had a free turn, and that's how we tended to lose senior soldiers in, shots through cover with a muton rifle for 6 damage. It's just kind of kind of how we rolled. So I think moving on, if we are going to engage, we'll take that first shot on an easy to kill target, so we at least eliminate the sheer numbers of enemies running around. But after that, I think we'll absolutely have to not set people on Overwatch, see what the aliens do, then use the grenades to clear cover, and then take a bunch of other undependable shots and hopefully get something down. So that's going to be, I think, adding to our success ratio, or success percentage. And those things all together, obviously, there are a big difference coming from Long War, so that's a whole nother level of learning the new mechanics. But, we'll adjust, we'll make do, and like I said, we'll kick it down one difficulty, I think, for next time, just because I need to get to later game. I need to understand how the techs work together and kind of get a more solid understanding of any enemy types that we'll encounter later in the game, because I know there's a bunch more that we haven't even seen yet, like new chrysalids. Regardless, I want to get later in the game so I understand how those enemies work before we go back on Legend and see if we can handle them. Because like I said, Long War tactics are not lining up for us pretty well here. It really is a whole new game with a whole new set of rules and concerns and things that work and things that don't. But like I said, it's been fun. I mean, the saltiness aside, which obviously you have to be when you miss really obvious shots, I've had a lot of fun. I learned a lot on this campaign, honestly. It's been a very much an enlightening experience for me. So we'll hit it back. We'll hit it back on Commander, I think. And that's whatever the next step off of Legend is. I think that's Commander. And we'll try to get through it. I mean, we'll maybe lose there too. Who knows? There could be some big surprises on enemies that I haven't seen yet. But we'll give it another go. And I mean, I'm having fun. I hope y'all are too, watching us nearly succeed, fail at the last second, and come back for more. And, it's XCOM. That's why we play it. It's difficult. Things go wrong and you have to adapt. And just in this case, too many things went wrong too early. And with some hard luck, we just couldn't dig ourselves out of the hole in any way. So, it goes that way. So I'll see you all for Season 1, the official Season 1, after we got a little bit of our feet wet into XCOM 2. I'll see you soon with the pool characters you submitted. Thank you so much for doing that, by the way. Have plenty of nice characters. Keep submitting them, though. I'll keep adding them to the pool, and maybe you'll have your shot in the limelight. Until such time, though, I have been Nurse. This has been our first season of XCOM 2. Thanks so much for tuning in, even through the hard times, even through the losses. Thanks for submitting your characters. Your customizations made this a whole lot of fun. And I'll see you on the next go-round, coming right up next. Till then, Commander.